Good morning, students. Today we are going to take up the order Jungamanials belonging to the group Bryophyta, and we are going to take the genus Porella in detail, which is described in your syllabus. This topic is for MSc Sem 3 students of botany. As regards its systematic position, Porella belongs to class Hepaticopsida, order Jungamaniales, suborder Jungamaniaceae, and family Porellaceae. Porella is represented by 184 species having a cosmopolitan distribution, and about 34 species have been reported from India, mainly from Himalayas and a few from South India. Porella platyphylla is the most common Indian species. The plants grow well on shady places and have a preference to the epiphytic habit on the lower region of the tree trunk, forming compact green patches covering the substratum. The external features of the adult gametophyte. We all know that being bryophytes, the main plant body is the gametophytic, and the external features you can refer to the figure 6.1. Now, the plants are fairly large, up to 15 centimeter, and remain attached by scanty rhizoids. The plant body is dorsiventral and leafy. The leaves are arranged in 3 rows, 2 lateral rows, and a ventral row. The leaf margin may be either entire, figure 6.1e, or it can have a dentate margin, figure 6.1d. Lateral leaves are bipartite. That means they are having 2 lobes unequally divided into a larger dorsal lobe, which is called as the antical lobe, with a rounded apex, and a small ventral lobe, which is called the lobule, with an acute apex. The leaves of the ventral row are called amphigastria, and leaves, as you all very well know, they are the main absorptive organs, whereas the number of rhizoids and cells of the stem, they act as an additional absorptive organ. The main function of rhizoids is to anchor the plant with the substratum. The internal features shows the stem. It shows a marked differentiation of the tissues into the outer cortex and an inner middle part called the medulla. Figure, you can refer to the figure 6.2a. It is having a central portion medulla, and an outer portion is called as the cortex. Cortex consists of 2 to 5 layers of thick-walled, deep brown smaller cells, and the central part, which is called the medulla, is occupied by thin-walled, large, more or less elongated cells. The figure B represents the leaves. They have simplest organization and consist of single layer of isodiametric polygonal cells with abundant chloroplast in each cell. The midrib is lacking in Porella. The cells have a conspicuous thickening at the corners, forming trigones. You can see figure B, where the each cell is having a chloroplast, and there is a conspicuous thickening at the corner, which is called as the trigone. The apical growth of the thallus is taking place with means of an apical cell, which is tetrahedral and having a inverted pyramid shape with 3 cutting faces, 2 dorsolateral and 1 ventral. The dorsolateral segments cut off 2 leaf initials, 2 cortical initials and 1 medulla. Thus, 2 rows of leaves and axes are formed from the 2 dorsolateral segments, and the ventral segment gives rise to the amphigastrium. Now, we will be taking up with the life cycle of the genus Porella. Porella, it reproduces by both vegetative and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is taking place by means of fragmentation process, and the sexual reproduction. Here, the plants, they exhibit a highly advanced oogamous type of sexual reproduction. And remember, the plants are strictly dioecious, that is, they are dimorphic, with both male and female plants having sharply differentiation. The male plants are smaller than the female plants. Now, this figure is showing the Antheridia, or the male reproductive organ of Porella. You can refer to the figure where you can see the details of the antherium. The antheria develop on specialized short lateral antherial branch, which differ from normal branches in having closely set and much smaller leaves or bracts. Single antherium arises in the axil of each bract. The amphigastrium of male branches is termed as the bracteole. Now, the development of the antherium. I will be taking a separate lecture on the development of the antherium and archegonium of the genus Porella. Now, you just have a look at the structure of the mature antherium. You can refer to the figure 6.4b. Each antherium is distinguishably into a long stalk and a globular body. Stalk consists of 2 rows of cells. The body of antherium has a sterile jacket as an external covering, and the jacket is single layered thick. The jacket encloses a mass of sporocytes or the spermatocytes, or they are also called as the endocytes. Each spermatocyte develops into a single biflagellate spermatozoid. The liberation of these spermatozoids takes place by the distal region of the antherial jacket. It opens into a number of irregular valves due to the absorption of water. The valves get tightly curved, and even the individual cells, they get separated from each other and force out the endocytes into the water. Shortly, each endocyte metamorphoses into a biflagellate antherozoid. The antherozoids are spirally coiled, completing about at least 2 coils. You can see the figure 6.4d, each spermatozoid having a 2 coiled structure. Coming to the female reproductive organ, the archegonia. You can refer to this figure. The archegonial branches arise at the apex of specialized, less distinct, short archegonial branches called as the female plants. The archegonial branches, they arise laterally and bear only 2 to 5 leaves. A group of about 15 archegonia remain surrounded by 2 bracts, a bracteole and a perianth. Now, the development of the archegonia. The development of archegonia occur in acropetal succession. That is, the older Archegonia, they remain towards the basal portion, and the youngest and the newly formed Archegonia, they arise at the apex. Ultimately, the apical cell itself develops into the archegonium, checking further growth of the branch. Now, this development of the archegonium will be taken up in by a separate lecture. Now, we will be looking into the structure of the mature archegonium. The archegonium is distinguishable into a broad neck and a distended venter. The neck is almost as broad as the venter. The neck consists of 5 vertical rows of cells enclosing about 6 to 8 linearly arranged broad neck canal cells. The wall of the venter consists of 2 rows of cells and encloses a ventral canal cell and an egg. Archegonia arise in a group of about 15 surrounded by dorsiventrally compressed perianth, 2 bracts and a bracteole. Now, when the sex organs mature, the process of fertilization takes place, and the both male and female plants grow closely in dense compact patches. The spermatozoids swim towards the open archegonium through the film of water, and the antherozoid fuses with the egg, and the fertilization process takes place. Now, with the formation of the zygote, sorry, now when male and female sex organs fuse, zygote is formed, and the sporophyte begins, which is the second generation in the genus Porella. The sporophyte, what are the post-fertilization changes that take place? The zygote increase in size, divides by a transverse wall into an apibasal cell and an hypobasal cell. You can refer to this figure 6.6, which shows the development of the sporogonium in Porella. The hypobasal cell does not divide further and forms the suspensor or the hostorium. The apibasal cell divides by a transverse wall to form 2 cells. Thus, the embryo is like a filament of 3 cells. You can see figure 6.6c, where the hostorium is having 3 cells. The entire sporophyte develops from the upper 2 cells, which are derived from the apibasal cell. They divide further by transverse and vertical walls and form an elongated multicellular embryo. The foot, seta, and capsule are formed by further irregular divisions. Now, the sporogenous cells get arranged into radiating rows and develop irregularly into intermingled spore mother cells and elater mother cells. Each spore mother cell develops 4 lobes before the nucleus divides. The nucleus divides meiotically and a single nucleus passes into each lobe. Now the walls develop to form 4 haploid spores. The elater mother cells divide or directly grow into the elaters by elongation with tapering ends, which occupy the remaining space left by the spores. The elaters develop 2 to 3 spiral thickening bands. The sterile jacket of capsule is formed by the development of periclinal and anticlinal walls, which becomes 3.4 cells in thickness. You can see figure 6.6i. This seta here is short and cylindrical. The foot is not very distinct from the seta. The enlarged portion of seta and capsule remains surrounded by multi-layered calyptra and perianth. Outside the perianth, the involucre is formed by enlarged surrounding bags. You can see figure 6.6n. Now, the structure of the sporophyte. The sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule. Foot and seta are not easily distinguishable from each other. Foot and lower part of seta are embedded in the cells of the axis. Capsule is 2 to 3 layered thick, having a sterile jacket enclosing the mass of tetraloid haploid spores and elaters. The elaters are short with tapering ends. Each elater is provided with 2 to 3 spiral thickening bands. The young sporophyte remains enclosed by a calyptra, a perianth, and the involucre. Now, the capsule dehisces. As soon as the spores mature, the cells of the capsule wall develop brown pigment and the seta elongates rapidly and thrusts open the capsule out of the calyptra, perianth, and involucre. And the exposed capsule wall splits into 4, sometimes more valves due to dryness. The splittings of the valves do not reach the base of the capsule. The hygroscopic movement of elaters help in oozing out the spores to some distance. The young sporophyte. With the formation of spore, the haploid spore, this is the first gametophytic cell, and the spore wall is double layered, the outer smooth of sculptured exine and the inner thin called as the intine. Now the spores germinate immediately without undergoing any resting phase to give rise to the young thallus belonging to the gametophytic generation. So students, this is all about the genus Porella. Now just have a look at the life cycle of the genus Porella, the alternation of generations. तो स्टूडेंट्स हम देख रहे हैं कि ये जो पोरेला है ये कॉस्मोपॉलिटन इसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है और ये एपिफिटिक हैबिटेट प्रिफर करता है और इसमें जो एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात है प्लांट्स डाइशियस होते हैं, मेल और फीमेल थैलस अलग अलग पाए जाते हैं और ये डायग्राम आप देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह से ये 2 जनरेशन्स जो ब्रायोफाइट्स में पाई जाती हैं, गमीटोफाइट और स्पोरोफाइट, एक दूसरे को अल्टरनेट करती हैं। तो हम बिगिन करते हैं विद द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द स्पोर। मियोसिस होता है स्पोर मदर सेल्स, एक स्पोर टेट्राड बनता है और मियोसिस के द्वारा स्पोर्स होते हैं। स्पोर्स जर्मिनेट होकर यंग प्लांट बनाते हैं और ये जब यंग प्लांट मैच्योर होता है तो ये 2 अलग अलग थैलस हैं, मेल प्लांट एंड दी फीमेल प्लांट। डाइशियस है प्लांट और मेल प्लांट क्या प्रोड्यूस करता है, द मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर कॉल्ड एज द एंथ्रीडियम एंड द फीमेल प्लांट क्या मैच्योर होकर बनाता है, द फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर कॉल्ड एज द आर्किगोनियम। एंथ्रीडिया से एंथीरोजोइड्स या स्पर्मेटोजोइड्स लिबरेट होते हैं और ये जो स्पर्मेटोजोइड्स हैं ये स्पाइरली कॉइल्ड हैं, 2 कॉइल्स शो करते हैं पोरेला में और आर्किगोनियम के बेस में एग पाया जाता है और जब दोनों मैच्योर हो जाते हैं फर्टिलाइजेशन होता है दोनों में, मेल और फीमेल गमीट्स में, और ये जायगोट बनाता है। जायगोट फिर कन्वर्ट होता है एम्ब्रियो में और एम्ब्रियो जो मेटामॉर्फोसिस होकर एक स्पोरोफाइट बनाता है जो कि आप देख रहे हैं एक फुट, सीटा और कैप्सूल में डिफरेंशिएटेड रहता है और जो सेंट्रल पोर्शन है उसमें आप देख रहे हैं कि स्पोर मदर सेल्स पाए जाते हैं और इलेटर्स पाए जाते हैं। और ये स्पोर मदर सेल्स मेच्योर होकर डिवाइड और रीडिवाइड होकर स्पोर टेट्राड्स बनाते हैं। और ये पूरा जाइगोट से लेकर और स्पोर मदर सेल्स मियोसिस से पहले तक ये प्लांट एग्जिबिट करता है दी स्पोरोफिटिक जनरेशन और दी 2n जनरेशन। और स्पोर जर्मिनेट होते ही नया प्लांट बनाता है जो कि गैमेटोफिटिक जनरेशन को बिलोंग करता है। तो इस तरह से ये ऑल्टरनेशंस ऑफ जनरेशंस पुरेला में पाई जाती हैं। और इनका जो डिफ्रेंसिएशन है या डेवलपमेंट है एंथीडियम और आर्किगोनियम का, ये नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में कवर होगा। सो स्टूडेंट्स, दिस इज ऑल फॉर नाउ। थैंक यू।